someone. Always trust my gut. Hello and welcome to Gutted. I'm Aleece.
And I'm Tony, and we're here to spill our guts about horror film trailers.
Today we are reviewing a trailer for a movie recommended by one of our favorite fellow horror podcasters, Cradle to the Grave. Starting with his birth year, 1971, Erik, the creator and host of Cradle to the Grave podcast, lists his top 10 horror films for each year and discusses these movies in detail with a variety of awesome guests, often with a connection to the horror world.
He usually has on writers, musicians, filmmakers, other podcasters.
Such as us.
We have been lucky enough to have been invited onto the show a couple of times.
Yeah, we got to be on there for his episode on Shivers.
Yes, and we also, this is probably one of the biggest honors for a horror fan. We got to talk about John Carpenter's Halloween. So you can go check those episodes out in his best of 1975.
For Shivers.
And 1978 for Halloween.
Yeah.
And he's made it all the way through the 70s. He's now into the 80s.
He's embarking on the 80s, which brings us to our episode today for 1981's Wolfen, directed by Michael Wadleigh and written by Michael Wadleigh as well as Whitley Strieber and David Eyre.
And I'm going into this one completely blind. I've vaguely heard of it, maybe in the social media world.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's about werewolves.
I'm thinking a wolf. Maybe maybe a wolf cub, or maybe it's German and it's Wolfen. And there's more than one wolf. It's the plural form of wolves in German.
Well, you're getting too ahead of yourself. Let's watch the trailer and find out what it's about.
I'm trying to predict.
Predict.
Yeah, based off the trailer. It's my new podcast.
Something out there might be eating people.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, get out of there!
What do you think it was?
You were being lured. We were being separated.
By what?
The carnivore. You got yourself some kind of meat eater. Meat eater.
What is it?
It's Wolfen. They're only animals. They might be gods. Their eyes. You are the savage. Wolfen.
All right, that was Wolfen. Right. So first off, it looks like a pretty notable cast. Anyone that you recognized?
No, not really from the trailer, but
from the IMDb page?
Once I look at the names,
Once we see the names, who did you recognize?
Well, looking at the names, we have Tom Noonan, who we know from House of the Devil.
Yeah, the creepy tall guy from House of the Devil.
Maybe in some other stuff, not sure.
He's in some indie films.
Gregory Hines is a face that I recognize, but and then when the name was said, I did recognize the name. I feel like he's been on Sesame Street, and I know him from my childhood.
He probably was on Sesame Street.
He's been in something that I've seen at a young age, and he has that sort of presence that's memorable. But I totally forgot about him.
He definitely had a presence from that trailer. But I know him from A Preacher's Wife or The Preacher's Wife.
Never seen it.
I've seen it, but he was also in Waiting to Exhale, which is probably one of his bigger roles. My favorite person in this cast is Diana Venora, who I know as Lady Capulet from Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize her.
Oh, she's also in Heat. I liked her in Heat
also.
Okay. Watching the trailer, I would not have known that was her because there are a lot of very fast cuts in that trailer. It doesn't seem to give away much.
No.
Even with the actors that are in it, I barely saw Albert Finney. And I was like, oh, that's Albert Finney.
That trailer was pretty awesome. We got some old school effects, this sort of inverse photo effect.
So it was cool that I feel like we're getting a nice, unique Wolfen POV. I don't know why I feel like he's German. I feel like this wolf is German.
It's set in New York, so I want to pronounce it Wolfen.
Wolfen. Hey, Wolfen.
Yeah, Wolfen.
We got Wolfen over here.
Hey, Wolfen over here, Wolfen.
Yeah, that was probably better than mine. Sorry, New Yorkers.
That was terribly offensive to anyone from New York.
Terrible New York accent. Sorry.
We apologize for that.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention Edward James Olmos.
I didn't even recognize him or see him.
No, he was the guy. It looked like there's a scene where they're having dinner in a dark living room. And I think Edward James Olmos is the guy that's like, there's a wolf out there. Be careful.
So he's the wise old...
I don't think he's old in this.
He's the young and wise.
The young buck who knows things.
Yeah.
And he's telling Albert Finney and Diane Venora, I think, about what's going on. They're like, oh, this is what's happening. And yeah, they had to shoot it with a gun several times. And then at the very end, there's one tagline that says...
There's no defense.
There's no defense. So sorry, guns.
Someone in the trailer does mention, I think they're gods.
Oh, yeah, that's Edward James Olmos.
Oh, okay.
So he's basically saying that I'm not messing with them, but you go for it, Diane Venora, with your gun. Because I'm staying put in my dark living room. Ooh, one line that stood out to me was, I think it was the coroner who said, it's attacking corporate executives.
Wow. Okay, so there's some sort of class battle here.
Yeah, it's like a Robin Hood wolf.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If like Robin Hood was Wolfen.
Should we get into predictions?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think this movie is about?
I think it's about a werewolf, but in human form, this person has some sort of beef with the upper class. Yeah, they're like, oh, corporate greed, I'm going to eat you. So literally, like, I'm going to take you down, corporate greed, and I'm going to eat corporate executives. And so that scene in the park with like the upper class woman and the dude wearing their tuxedos and nice gowns, obviously they get eaten first, I'm thinking. It's like, oh no, this upper crust of society got mutilated in Central Park.
Maybe rich people just taste better.
Ooh, I bet you this wolf lived in that building that got demolished. And they're like, shoot, now I don't have a home because corporate greed. And so it's a lesson. Don't demolish buildings if people live in them.
1981 was the werewolf year.
Hey year.
Yes.
Heyday.
So it's definitely got to be a werewolf movie, not just a wolf that's running amok. No. Because if you watch the trailer, you could possibly think that maybe it's just this beast. So it's sort of like a, what's that movie? Man's Best Friend, where he's running away from the superdog.
Like the knockoff of Cujo?
Or, yeah, it could just be Cujo, where a dog is terrorizing these people.
Well, even in American Werewolf in London, he didn't quite have the faculties about him to restrain himself from eating people that he cared about if they were in his vicinity when he turned wolf.
Right.
But it seems like this wolf
is pickier.
Well, this wolf, when he is in wolf, or she is in wolf form, then they can actually pick and choose. They can have the mental faculties to be like, no, I'm not going to eat you because you are working hard at your restaurant. I'm going to eat them because they're fannying about in Central Park late at night. So this wolf, when they're in wolf form, can actually reason.
As far as motive, I don't know if I agree with it's going to be a wolf from a demolished building. I feel like it's going to be, because they mentioned like they must be gods. Maybe it is an ancestral race. So going the more underworld route, but not like underworld, but you know, that sort of thing where they have always existed amongst the people of New York.
It's like more fantastical.
Yeah, you know, like how vampires have been around. They've been among us. So okay. I think that it's going to be more of that. I think there's going to be more than one werewolf. And I think that one of our main characters, or one of the top billed cast, are going to be a werewolf.
So you think that one of our top characters will already be a wolf from like the start of the movie? We don't know it. Like the coroner?
I wonder if it's going to be, because, you know, werewolf lore, it's like if you get bitten, you become a werewolf. But yeah. I wonder if this one, it's just like a pack of werewolves and they're just hunting.
Yeah, they hunt and they eat and they leave nothing behind to become a werewolf in the future.
Yeah.
They eat it all. Bones and all.
Bones and all.
Interesting.
I'm going to guess maybe Tom Noonan is going to be a werewolf. Who out of this list of cast or characters do you think is going to get eaten or offed?
Poor Gregory Hines, the coroner, I'm thinking. He'll be like the one that's telling everyone what's going on, and he'll have his hypotheses that are correct and everyone dismisses him, and then he gets eaten.
He's like, I know how to kill it. You have to have a silver.
You have to have a diamond earring, and then they kill him.
A diamond earring? Is he wearing a diamond earring?
He's wearing a really big diamond earring throughout the trailer. You missed it?
So it falls out of his ear, and then he's eaten because he loses his protection, his immunity.
He loses his protection.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I could see some of these supporting characters dying, such as Edward James Olmos and Gregory Hines.
I don't know.
It was the early 80s,
Yeah.
and I don't think that the studios were trying to make minority characters survive.
That's probably true.
So, unfortunately, I think these characters are going to get offed.
But you think, I don't know though. I feel like Edward James almost might make it because he seems like so knowledgeable about this, and he looks like he's holed up in a dark home, like a dark living room, like blinds are shut. He's not going outside.
Yeah.
He's borderline agoraphobic, so I feel like he might be safe.
Okay.
Or he'll go outside to save somebody. I hope he doesn't go outside to save Diane Venora's character. I hope she's able to handle
Are we
herself.
thinking that Diane Venora is going to be a sort of final girl?
She's like the only female in the top billed cast. Because this was made in the 80s, I'm going to predict that they will save the female, as they often do. I'm going to predict that Diane Venora and Edward James Olmos will both live.
Okay.
And the rest will die.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. I was going to go with Dewey Wilson and Rebecca Neff. Super basic.
Super basic.
Prediction.
The two toppest billed cast.
I've been known to have spot on predictions.
You know, in the past ones you have actually been doing pretty well these days. I'm impressed. What do you think you're not going to like about it?
Honestly, like from the trailer, it looks pretty solid. This is a recommendation from Erik at Cradle to the Grave.
Yeah.
And if he's vouching for it, then it's got to be pretty solid.
I'm kind of with you. Yeah. I think I won't like if it's too predictable, like our poor coroner dies immediately. Like everything that we saw in the preview those were his scenes.
Like as he's exiting the morgue on the first night we meet him, he gets eaten.
He's slashed. Done.
Maybe we'll get like a Samuel L. Jackson kind of thing where his arm is in a
like in
door.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, oh, thank goodness you're here. Ah.
We'll get some sort of severed limb.
We'll get his ear with the earring on it.
Ooh.
Oh, there's his earring.
What do you think of the poster?
I like this poster. We have the moon in the eyeball.
It's real simple. You got a moon eyeball. The
Like-
bags under the eyes are made out of clouds. That's actually very clever.
Yeah, but it could be either one of two things. It could be the clouds in the sky, or it could be the fur of Wolfen.
It looks like clouds to me.
It
honestly.
looks like clouds, but it could also, from like, just a quick glance, look like fur.
Yeah, we get a lot of text on this that is a little tough to read from here.
I'm not
It
even going
says,
to try.
they can hear a cloud pass overhead, the rhythm of your blood. They can track you by yesterday's shadow. They can tear the scream from your throat. There's no defense. I like that. There's a bit of poetry.
It does sound very haiku-ish. I don't think it's a haiku, but it sounds like a nice truncated poem.
And the typography, it's sort of like this distressed slash, like a scratch mark letters.
Yeah, like slightly bloody.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And bloody Wolfen.
Would you put this poster
Yeah.
on
Anywhere.
Anywhere? You
I
get
like
a tattoo?
it. It's clever because it's one of those like, what are those called? Those like optical illusion images where it's like, is it an old lady or a duck? I like those.
I think if I saw someone walking down the street and they had this poster tattooed on their body, I'd be like, that is super cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd be able to commit. But I'd for sure put this up in my dorm room.
Podcast room.
I'm not in college, guys.
Who are we kidding? It's been many years.
I would put this sticker on my laptop.
Definitely.
Although I don't have
on
any
my
stickers
laptop.
on my laptop. You've got
have
the
a
stickers
few.
on your laptop.
I would put it on my laptop for sure. I would hang it up in my podcast room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Without having seen the movie.
Without having seen the movie, I'm just going to have to Believe Erik that this is a good one. Just hang it up immediately. I rate it highly.
I would rate this poster highly as well.
When are you likely to see this? We have a few options. Is it going to be this weekend, within the year, eventually / on the back burner, or you saw all you need to see? The pre-gut was good enough.
This movie is going to be my homework before I listen to Cradle to the Grave's Best of 1981 episode. So I'm going to watch it ASAP.
Yeah, I don't want it spoiled. I agree. Definitely sooner than by the end of the year. This weekend, I don't know if I would see it this weekend. I have a few others.
But you have to watch it before listening to the Cradle to the Grave episode.
I
Best
do.
Of 1981.
So, I'm going to go halfway in between and say within the month. Honestly, I liked the trailer. I might actually watch it this weekend.
Yeah, it looked pretty awesome. To be honest, this trailer, especially for an older movie, gave us just enough to pique our interest, but not too much where I felt like it was spoiled.
Exactly.
And that's pretty rare, especially in the 80s and 70s.
Yeah, they spoiled everything in those movies, those trailers. That about does it for Wolfen or Wolfen, depending on how you want to pronounce it. If you like what you've heard today, please subscribe, like, and or give us a rating.
Also, don't forget to check out Cradle to the Grave's full review on Wolfen in the Best of 1981 episode. We listened to him on Spotify. We will also put a link to the episode in the description of this episode, so keep an eye out for that. And thanks again, Cradle to the Grave, for recommending Wolfen for us to check out.
Yeah, it looks good.
Very glad that this movie is on my radar because it was definitely a blind spot for me.
Yeah, all these trailer reviews are. So cool.
Cool.
All right, thank you for watching and or listening. This has been another episode of
Gutted.